Someone in my life once told me, be prepared for whatever life brings you, whether it is a job interview or any family situations. He also said, be happy in whatever you are doing. This perfectly describes an awesome person in my life. He has taught me to be grateful for everything that I've gotten. This awesome person is my grandpa. He is a very important man to me and has taught me many things, and he means a lot to me and my family. The things that he has taught me is like how to hunt, how to fish, and finally all about Arizona when my two brothers and I visited. I can learn anything from anyone, but the person that had the greatest impact teaching me was my grandpa. One of the most important things my grandpa has taught me is how to hunt. Unfortunately, my dad was never big into hunting, but thankfully, my grandpa is. I can clearly remember that night, staring up at the ceiling, so excited I couldn't even sleep. When 5:30 struck the clock, the whole house rose like zombies, moaning and groaning, wishing they were dead. I slowly tiptoed to my grandpa, asking him if we were ready to go. Since we had the backpack, the guns, and the ammo ready, we could head out. We were going to the East Field, which wasn't that far of a walk, thankfully, for my grandpa's health. As we walked to the East Field, I truly felt like a ninja with a gun at my side, tiptoeing through the woods. As we walked in the field, we could see the blind in the distance. As we walked up the slippery, wet steps, we got into the blind, opening all the windows. The sun broke the horizon, and this was time to hunt. I slowly prepared by raising and lowering my gun, putting my eye in the sights, pretending I could see a deer in the distance. My grandpa teaching me through every step of the way. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything that morning, but we could always wait for night. Nightfall came and we were in the same stand. I practiced raising and lowering my gun once again. Then, two deer poked their heads out around the corner. I slowly picked up the gun. Unfortunately, they were too small, but it didn't matter to me. I still raised the gun and practiced lowering it in. It was a crazy experience for me to even see my first deer. Hunting has taught me many things. It can be a win or lose. And I like to use this in life. I always try to be the best person I can be and always try to succeed. And my grandpa has taught me this. Another thing my grandpa has taught me is how to fish. Every summer, my two brothers and I go fishing at Lake St. Clair. We go walleye fishing every year. It is like a family tradition. My grandpa even lets me drive out the boat every time. With the wind and the waves crashing in your face, there's no better experience. With the poles and the trolling motor ready, we could finally start fishing. You'll hear, "Fish on!" from my grandpa, and you know you have a fish on. You yank the pole and you start reeling as hard as you can. As the fish sees the boat, it even pulls harder. You try and rip and yank it in, and my grandpa will finally net it in and put it in the boat. We always play a game that we're on the boat and who can catch the most fish in the amount of time. And I always win because I am the best fisherman in my family. My grandpa has told me fishing is like an art. You have to put the lure right where the fish is in order to catch it. Through the steps, fishing has changed throughout my life. From a simple hook and worm to now a rig that we use for walleye fishing that I can't even understand. But my grandpa has been there every step of the way. Finally, my grandpa has taught me all about Arizona when my two brothers and I visited. I remember landing at the airport, seeing my grandpa in his van. He stepped out and gave me a huge hug with a huge smile on his face. He couldn't even take the smile off his face, that's how happy he was. As we drove away from the airport, we saw a whole bunch of Indian reservations. My grandpa would point out which ones they are. It was very sad to see how much they are very poor because of the government restrictions that are put on them. But it was also odd to think that someone else can live in our country without the same laws that we do. They have completely different laws on speed limit. They can make up their own laws because they're basically a different organization, kind of. As we arrived at our grandparents' house, I saw a whole bunch of relatives pouring out, giving me hugs and kisses and telling me how they were related to me. I truly felt at home meeting these people. My grandpa was out back cooking. He was cooking the fish that we had caught from the summer. When I say we, I mean me. As we started to eat, my grandpa told me that in order to get something, you need to give something. And I have taken that every day today. If I want to get something, I must give something in return. I will always try to be just like my grandpa. He has taught me many things and is a great man. He has taught me many things, getting in the blind, seeing my first deer, and even getting the sights on it. He has taught me hunting, to catching my first fish, to catching my last fish this year, or even driving the boat out every time we go fishing. Or in Arizona, the Indian reservations, learning all about how they are different to the rules that I have, and eating some delicious food, and ultimately giving back to everyone. That's someone that told me to be happy whatever you are doing was my very own grandpa, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life.